So I hope everyone attend to the demo class, right? So I will start it from Python introduction. Okay. So these are the concepts I am covering in this total in this period. Okay. So for this coaching time, I will start with Python introduction to all the OPS concepts also. I will cover all the OPS concepts along with the real-time examples and the real-world examples. Okay. So first of all, I will go through the Python introduction. So everyone will get this link, okay? Don't worry. So you can directly go through this link and practice each and every topic, okay? No need to prepare any notes, okay? So first of all, in the introduction, the Python language as it is in high level language, okay? High level programming language. So when you see, for example, C, Java, those languages are not up to the mark. Means a high level language is nothing but human understandable language. So human understandable language. So whenever human understandable language. So whenever if you write a code, Python code, so you can easily read that code in a simple format, like in a simple English conversation. It looks like some English conversation. Okay. So it is not it will not look like a Python program. Okay. It's just a English conversation comprehension. If we see the English comprehension, how it looks like. So in the same way, our Python program also look. Whenever we read that programming, it's just like an English comprehension. Okay, so it is a high level language. High level language is nothing but human understandable programming language. Okay, it was developed by the Guido van Rossum. Okay, in 1989. So at that time, while he was working at National Research Institute at Netherlands, so actually he developed this program in 1989, but officially this was released on 20th February 1991. Okay, so coming to the Python program, let's see the simple Python program how it works. Okay, so whenever first of all, whenever we are going to the introduction, we will just compare with Java. Okay, because if we compare with Java, we will know we know how important it is. Means even though if we have Java, why we are using Python, so there is some importance to the Python, right? So compared to Java, so we need to find out that importance. Okay, so that's why everywhere we will compare with Java. So first of all, take a simple program in Java. If you want to declare any variable, okay, so for example, if I want to declare any variable, so here I want to declare a variable a equals to 10. Okay, a equals to 10. So for in Java, I have to tell to the system that a value is an integer. Okay, here I have to define the data type here. Okay, in Java. But coming to the Python, okay, in Python, simply we can declare a equals to 10. Okay, if you say a equals to 10, according to the memory, okay, it will store some place, right? So everything will store at some place in hard disk. Okay, it consumes some data, some memory. So according to that memory, by calculating that memory, it will append the data type. So for example, if I take b equals to some name, hello. So according to the memory occupied by this value, it will consider the data type, whether it is a string data type or it is a integer data type. It will consider according to the data type. Okay. So but coming to in Java we need to specify the data type. Okay. So see, a equals to 10. If you see here, if you type is a function. Don't worry, I will tell you further in later classes. We will discuss about these functions. Okay, so all these are inbuilt functions. Okay, so those are developed by the Python developers, official Python developers. Okay, so type of a, so it will give the data type of that value. Okay, a equals to 10. 10 is an integer. So if you give the type of a, if you give print type of a, Print is also a function. Okay, type of a, if you give the type of a, it will give the integer data type. So here we did not mention any data type here. Okay, but in Java we need to mention the data type. Okay, a equals to 10. In this way we have to mention in Java. Okay, but coming to Python, we don't need to mention any data type here. In runtime, okay, according to the memory, it will find out the data type. Okay, so who will find the data types? All these things are coming to picture later. Okay, there is a PVM, Python virtual machine. So this is the reason. In this is the reason while dynamically it provide the data type to the value. So next coming to the Python technology. So Python technology is acquired from different languages. Okay, so every language is very important. Even though mainframes also important nowadays, because mainframes, most of the applications run on the mainframes only. So every language is very important. Okay, so from every language they are picking up some of the important topics. Okay, for example, from C they pick up the functional programming language. Okay, by writing the functions also we can write a Python program, only functions. Okay, from C++ they acquired the oops features, oops concepts they acquired. Okay, so next, the scripting language. Scripting language features are acquired from the shell scripting and Perl scripting language. Okay, and modular programming features from Modular 3 programming language. Okay, so all these things I will discuss later. Okay, whenever we come into we learning the functions topic. At that time, we will discuss about all these things. Okay, OOPS concepts, scripting language, modular programming, and functional program. So next coming to the applications. So where we are using the Python. Okay. So developing desktop applications. So for example, Word, Excel, all these are desktop applications, means standalone applications. So for these applications, we need not any web, right? We need not any internet connection. We need not. So directly we can use, without internet connection also we can use the applications. And next, developing web applications. Develop web applications are nothing but application which runs on a server. Okay, for example, consider a Amazon application. So Amazon application, so if the application is available to everyone, means somewhere it is deployed, right? So in some other servers they will deploy this Amazon application. Okay, after deploying they will allocate a URL. So according to that URL, everyone will request to that application. Okay, everyone will. Okay, so developing web applications. Web applications is nothing but an application which is deployed in a server. Okay, for example, take a Flipkart application. So it is deployed in some other location in a server. Okay, and using that URL, we can access that particular application according to the domain name and according to the application name. We can access that application from the server. And developing DB applications. So for example, we have some DB applications like SSMS. So SSMS is nothing but an application um, which is used to communicate with database. So SSMS is an application. Okay, so developing DB applications. So some of the applications we have SSMS, MySQL connector. These are the applications which are used to communicate with the database, like to insert the data, to retrieve the data. Okay, and for network programming, for developing games and data analysis applications to analyze the data. Okay, IoT, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, machine learning. For all these applications, we are using Python nowadays. So what is the main use of the Python here? So even though we have Java, why we are using Python? Okay, this is the question. So if you consider most of these applications, all these applications deals with data. Okay, so it contains very huge quantities of data. Okay, large amounts of data they will use. So to process this large amounts of data, we need some we need a language which has very high performance. Okay, compared to Java, why Python is very efficient. Okay, so for example, if you want to write a for loop in Java, okay, so for example, I have to write a for loop, or to connect it to write a program to connect it to database in Java, roughly it will take 5 lines. Okay, but coming to Python, we can write it in 2 lines. Okay, so whenever the quantity of code increases, okay, the execution time period gradually decreases. Okay, the performance will decreases. So whenever we have less code, the execution time is, whenever we have very less code, then the performance is high, vice versa. So it is inversely proportional. So inversely proportional means the lines of code is inversely proportional to the performance. Okay, the lines of code is inversely proportional to the performance. So if the code is high, okay, if the code is high means if the lines of code is very more, for example, if the lines of code is very 5 lines, so it will take roughly 5 minutes, okay, to execute one by one line. Okay, here coming to the Python code, so to connect to database, it requires only 2 lines. Okay, roughly it will take 2 minutes to execute. Okay, 2 minutes to execute. So the performance of the Python program is very high compared to Java. So whenever we deals with large quantities of data, large amounts of data, so we use Python, not Java. Okay, so most of the applications, if you take artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, all these applications, and also the IoT, so all these applications will depends on data. So most of the work we have to do to retrieving and inserting the data. So that's why they are using the Python program. Example, Google, YouTube. YouTube is developed by using Python programming language, and NASA and NSA applications. So if you see the network stock exchange applications, so most of them they are every banking sector like ICICI, okay, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, most of them they will use the Python. Okay, they will use Java, but internal applications they will use Java. But to process the data, most of the banking sectors will use the Python programming language. Okay, so these are the features of Python. So let's see one by one. So it is a simple, compared to all other programming languages. We can write we can write in single lines. Okay, means it is very if you want to write any logic, we can write it in roughly within 2 or 3 lines according to the requirement. Okay, and open source. So if you open source is nothing but, so some of the inbuilt functions we have, okay, in Python, minimum, so maximum, some inbuilt functions we have like type, okay, print. All these are inbuilt functions which are written by the Python people. So we can modify these functions. Okay, we can override these functions. Override is nothing but we can customize the functions. We can customize the programming language. Customization is nothing but we can write according to our requirement. Okay, so um, for example, I have a ascending function. Okay, so what is ascending function will do? So ascending function will print the data in ascending order, means lower case to upper case. Okay, so in ascending order, it will print the data. Okay, uh, we can override this function. So if I want to override this function according to um, as per my requirement is to print the data in from ascending order, descending order to ascending order. So if I want to do that, I can override this ascending function. Okay, So we can override this ascending function. We can do as per our requirement. Okay. This is nothing but open source. Already I told you that high level programming language is nothing but human understandable language. Okay. Platform independent. Platform independent is nothing but, so we can write a Python program in Windows. So we can write a Python program in Windows and we can run it in Linux servers. Okay. Or we can write the Python programming Linux servers and we can run it in Windows. Vice versa, we can do it. Okay. And portability. Portability is nothing but migrating from one machine to another machine. So for example, with different operating systems we have. Okay. So in different operating systems with different hardwares, we can portable our Python programming languages from one machine to another machine. Okay. And dynamically typed. So already I told you, right? Dynamically typed is nothing but, so whenever if you want to give, for example, b equals to some string I have given. Okay. So in runtime, according to that space occupied, according to the memory occupied by this value, okay, it will allocate the data type. So you need not to mention any data type here. Automatically Python virtual machine will allocate the data type. Okay. See, this is the string. So if you given c equals to 1 plus 2j, okay, so if you type the type of c, it is complex number, right? So if you give any float value 10 plus 20, okay, if you print the type of f, means it is float data type. Okay. So in runtime it will provide the data type. Okay. Next, strongly typed. Strongly typed is nothing but, so for example, so we have a plus operator. Okay. In simple, we have a plus operator in Python. Okay. So according to the value, it will do the operation. So plus operator will use for two types. Okay. So two operations we will use the plus operator. One is to concatenate the data, and another one is to do the addition of two numbers. Okay. Addition of two numbers. So how it will do? According to the, so according to the value. For example, I have provide 1 plus 1. It will give the addition. Okay. If I give the two strings, data plus base, it will concatenate the data. Okay. So according to the type, it the plus operator will act. Okay. According to the data type, it will act. Okay. So plus operator will act as a concatenation and addition.